Hi, Scrappy friends, and welcome to another episode of the 12 Days of Christmas series, where we are working our way through the Creative Memories 110 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketchbook. And this is my gift to you this holiday season so that you can get ready for all the holiday photos that you're going to take, or that your past holiday photos that you need to get scrapped into your photo albums. So today we are opening the book to page 64, and it's this page right here. And I will put this sketch up on the screen so you can take a closer look. So here we have the sketch and the inspiration layout that they have in the book for us. So you'll see on the sketch there's one vertical photo toward the left of the page, and then three smaller cropped photos down the middle of the page, and then the third part of the page is circles with an icon in it. And then they have a very nice visual triangle with their embellishments, and of course a journaling spot. So our goal today is to take this sketch and create a double page layout. But I would like to keep my layout as close to the sketch as possible on the left-hand side. So back here on my desk, I have the papers that I will be using for today's layout. And I am dipping into the Seasonal Sightings Tone on Tone paper pack, as well as the Totally Tonal Christmas Designer paper pack. And this is the one that has all the beautiful plaids in it. I will also be bringing in some of this beautiful white shimmer cardstock. You can see it there, how it has just a very ever so slight shimmer to it. This is what I love about Creative Memories specialties papers. They're not so in your face that they're hard to use. These are very delicate and very nice to use. Then, so here's the paper. I'll be using this red, this green. I'm so excited. I've been using the brown so much that this is my last piece, and I think I'll be bringing in the green side on today's layout. Here's my first piece of plaid paper that I'll be using, and the red gingham. This green, I guess it's almost like a sweater knit pattern. Another piece from that Totally Tonal Christmas, this gray plaid, and then this wavy washed striped green paper from the Tone on Tone paper pack. Okay. So we'll first create the left-hand page before we move on to the corresponding right-hand page. In the sketch and the recommendations for this sketch, they used a whole piece of pattern paper as the background. Then they cut a piece for one side and cut a smaller piece for the other side, and then just left the center part of the paper exposed. But I want to save some of my paper today so I can use them in future layouts. So I'm going to bring in a piece of white cardstock. So this is a insert that I'm going to just recycle and use as my base, because I am going to wallpaper the whole thing. So that means you won't even see any of the white paper when I'm done. This one is a little bit damaged here at the bottom. Not sure if you can see that, but it's all going to be covered up when we're finished. Let me bring in my trimmer and we'll get to cutting. So I'm going to have it in this order. So it'll go red, green, and then the plaid. So let's begin with the red, and this one is going to be at 3.5 inches, so 3.5 by 12 inches. It will go right over here, and then I'm going to do the plaid, which will be on the left-hand side. I'm going to make this one 3.5 as well. Okay, and one more. Now this one's going to go in the center here. So if each of these are 3.5, we are now at 7 inches total used space on our 12 by 12 paper. So the center here would be 5 inches. We'll just measure to make sure, and yep, 5 inches. You can do a little bit more if you wanted to make sure to overlap, but I am going to conserve as much of this paper as I can, so I will do it at 5 inches. we will be putting on some embellishments to cover up our seams. Okay, so that's our basic layout. Now we need to figure out what we're going to use to cover our seams. So I'm going to bring in the border stickers that came with this collection. I think I'm going to go with the twinkling lights. And once I adhere these down, I'll put the twinkling lights right down the center seam. Now over here, you'll see in the sketch that they used an additional piece of paper. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to bring in a piece of this plaid, but I'm going to use the back side of it. It only requires about a 3/4 of an inch strip. So that's what I'll do right here to kind of cover up that seam. So I'm using a sticker and a piece of paper. You can always use 2 stickers if you wanted to. You can use 2 pieces of paper if you wanted to. You can bring in some washi tape. Here would be an excellent area for some washi tape. You can also bring in maybe some of those old zigzags that we used to have. Just something here and here to cover up the seam and another layer of texture and depth. Okay, so before we do that, let's look at our photo placement for this page. I'm going to keep very traditional to the page. I have 1 vertical and then I have 3 small photos that I've already trimmed down. They'll go off to the side. So far staying very traditional to the page design. And then I will be matting all the photos with this green sweater print paper. The back side would also work very well. And then this photo, the vertical photo, will get 2 mats. It'll have the green one, and then underneath the green one, I'm going to bring in the red gingham paper. So let me get the papers adhered to the page and get the seams covered up, my photos matted and mounted, and we'll be back to finish off the border of this page with the circular elements. Okay, hold on one moment and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I've adhered all the paper down. I put the border sticker right here and that gray strip of paper over here to cover up those seams. I matted all my photos. I adhered down the 3 here in order. Now this one I didn't adhere down because I wanted to show you. I decided to change over and use a matte card instead of the green piece of paper. And only because it has gray in it, and I have gray right here, so I felt like it was a good match. The green seemed to blend into the background a little too much, and I'll also bring in gray on the other page once I get to it. So I thought this made my picture stand out a little bit better, but the matte card had this fabulous journaling card on it, so I did gut that out. This is how it went. And so I can save this for a future project or maybe even this project. Let's go ahead and get this adhered down. Okay, and then in our sketch you'll see that they have journaling right here, so for now I'll just keep that as a placeholder. Let me just get this picture adhered down where I want it, which will probably be right about there. Let me go ahead and do that. To gut out the matte card, I just used a little finger X-Acto knife and went around it. It was very simple. I'm going to move that for now just so we can play with embellishing without that being in the way, because I don't know if I want it that big. Okay, so before we start cutting out our circle elements for the first side, let me go ahead and put this away and we will start to create the second page, and then we'll do the embellishing all together. Okay, hold on. Okay, for the second page, I'm going to bring in this green striped water washy looking paper, and that's going to be my background piece. Now I have 4 photos left over, and I like to mention that because I like to always kind of play with the photos and see how they're going to fall on my page. So with this particular set of photos, I really did only have 1 vertical photo, so it worked really well on the other page. So the remaining ones here were all horizontal. I did print these at home, and I had a little issue with my ink, so I might be reprinting some of these. So I'm going to put these ones down toward the bottom here. These other two, I've already cropped them down into smaller photos. So that's what I'm dealing with. So I wanted to do something a little extra special on this page and give something a try. So let me push that up there. And I'm going to bring in the brand new envelope and bow make punch board. And I'm also going to bring in this gray piece of paper. And my idea here is to make an envelope for this side over here. I'm going to put it in the corner and kind of pop it open a little bit so it looks kind of like the photos are falling out of the envelope a little bit. And then they'll just land on here a little bit crooked or cattywampus over here. Okay, so I'm gonna let me move this out of the way for a minute, bring in my trimmer. I want to make an envelope that is a 3 by 5. So when you're using the punch board, you just look up the size card that you have, and I want to make mine a 3 by 5, which is, let me see if I can, let me zoom in here. Okay, bring this up a little. Okay, I hope you can see that. That's 3 by 5. So it says, next to it tells you the measurement of your paper, and then that's going to be a square. So it's 6 7/8. And it tells you, the next column over tells you where you'll start to punch on the punch board over here, which it says at the 2 3/4 mark. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. We will cut our paper to 6 7/8. And we'll bring in our punch board. And the unique thing about this Creative Memories punch board is that it has the 2 extending arms, which makes it a whole lot easier to do your score lines on. Okay, so we take this corner and we line it up to the 2 3/4 inch, which it told us on the guide. We're going to pop out the little stylus here, and you just draw down with your stylus and score it down and then across. Okay, then you turn it to the other side and you do the same thing. Down and across. Okay, now we're done with the arms. We can put those back in. Then we take, you'll see the paper has, let's see if we can, if you can see that it has a little triangle. The little triangle then fits into the punch board right here, and you line up the little notches on the outside to your score lines and you punch down. And you do that on all 4 little triangles. Everywhere your score lines intersected gave you a little triangle, and we're just going to cut them. We're just going to punch them out. And then to make your corners rounded, this has a corner rounder. Whoops. Okay. You slide it right in and punch down. Okay, stylus goes back in so we don't forget. And then we're going to fold our envelope. Now I think I pressed a little too hard on my paper, but since this is going in my album, it's going to be just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the inside of the flaps here and here, and then I'll fold this part up, and that's going to be my envelope. Okay, let me bring my page back in. I can show you what I mean. So I'm going to adhere it just like that. So again, it kind of looks like the photos are just falling out of the envelope. I'll put that one kind of up on the top and then this one kind of overlapping like that. So just kind of a fun way to display my photos. I'm always looking for something to do on the opposite page that's a little bit different, and I thought that that would just be kind of cute. Let me bring back in the first page really quick so you can kind of see that's what the 2-page spread is going to look like. So just a little something to make it look a little different. And you'll see that the papers are all tying in together. So I do still want to mat my photos over here. So I will be bringing in some more of this gingham, and I will mat for sure the ones here at the bottom. And then this picture will be matted also on the gingham, and this one I will leave unmatted. So it's like just falling out of the envelope. So let me get the photos matted and adhered to my page. Then I'll be right back and we'll get some embellishing done. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're back and everything is adhered down, and I am ready to do some embellishing. So I'm going to start with finishing off my border here. I am going to make that look similar to the sketch. So for that, I will need to bring in my custom cutting system. I'm going to be using the medium circle and the blue blade. And I'm also going to bring in the brand new circle punch and my scrap paper. Okay, so let me first move these up a little bit out of our way so we can begin. I have some of the maroon that I used over here and the green, and then I'm also bringing in my shimmer white. So what we're going to do is, let me move this aside for one moment. We're going to start with our custom cutting system. And I'm going to cut out using the inside circle with the blue blade, so it's the furthest in. So I'm going to make sure I'm conserving as much paper as I can. And I'm going to cut 2 from each color, and then I'm going to come back in and use my new punch, and then I'll use what I make to create a layered circle. So this one's going to be a 2-inch circle, and from the new punch I'll be getting a 1 3/4 inch circle. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I punched them all out, and I'm just going to arrange them in some kind of fashion. I just kind of alternated the circles around and just kind of played with how I'm going to layer them up. So this is what it will look like, a very thin border around the outside. So if you wanted more of a border, you just make smaller circles. And there we go. So I'm just going to evenly space those out. And then I made a 6th one because I wanted to bring in the circular element over on this page as well. Probably will go somewhere like that. So now I'd like to add the theme related punch out to the top of each circle. And for that, I'm going to bring in my sleigh punch. This is an older punch, and I apologize because it is not available any longer. But I know a lot of you probably have this in your stash already. I wanted to point out that really whatever your theme is that you're using, you just pull out a punch or maybe even die cuts or stickers. And I'm just going to punch one out for each of the circles. So I'll punch out 6, and that's why I brought in some black cardstock stash. But whatever your theme is or whatever theme punches you have, then that's what you would use. There we go. And it's going to go right on top of each circle just like that. So I'll go ahead and I'll get 5 more of these adorable sleds punched out. And so I am going to make sure that my sleighs are all facing the same direction. But again, you can have some creative fun and do whatever fits for your circle and your page. Okay, so that's how that's going to go. Okay, so just to add a little bit, few more touches to our layout before we finish up here, I'm going to take this little strip of twinkling lights from the border strip and decorate this envelope right over here, just to bring in a little bit of the lights from the other side. So what I did was, when I went to adhere this, I actually very carefully lifted this up. I snipped out the border from underneath here because I had a bunch here that wasn't showing. I snipped out a piece, and then that's what I'm going to bring over here. Okay, so I didn't use a new piece. I just kind of cheated and got some from underneath here. Okay, so let's see what else we have. I think I'm going to use some of these little stars that we have on the sticker sheet to kind of decorate my sleigh a little bit. So let's see. Maybe this one, and maybe this one here. Also, some of the fallout that comes out from the punch would be really cute if you sprinkled it around the sleigh. That looks super cute. Yep, I like that. That's really super cute. Just a little teeny tiny bit of wet glue would help that along. Okay, so let's look at the sticker sheet a little more. Let's see if this one will work. If we put seasonal sightings on the bottom, and then our sleigh popping out at the top like that. And let's see if we have one more little star. Kind of put it right up here, cover up that one area, that one open area. Yeah, I like it. Super cute. I think I'll bring it up like that a little bit. Okay, I'm liking the amount of embellishments that I have on here. One thing I would like to maybe bring in is a title. And I'm thinking I like this one here that says, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And I think I will pop that up onto some foam tape. Okay, and then I'll put that right up in the corner, just like that. So that will be my title. Okay, and there we go. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love that I turned that pet layout into a double page Christmas layout. Got to use some new tools. I used the envelope punch board and the new circle, which, by the way, cuts when I was cutting. I'm not sure if you saw the speeded up version, but this cuts very smoothly, very nicely, just as if you were cutting through some soft butter. And I'm hoping that Creative Memories comes out with more sizes. I would love a 2-inch punch, but this is like our missing link. It fits. It's the one size that we didn't have between our old circle punches and the custom cutting system. So I'm loving that punch, and we'll be seeing that one around a lot more in the future. Okay, but anyway, there's today's layout. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you are inspired. Please take a moment, if you haven't already, to click that like button. It really helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. And we'll wrap it up. And until our next video, I hope that you all take care and are enjoying your holiday season, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.